Hey yo, howdy doody. I just thought there's probably nobody under the age of 70 that knows what I just said just there. Anyway, so it's good to see you. Thanks for being here on the Little Bit Out West podcast. We're going to get a little bit out west today. We're talking this week about there is a process that we're going through, which is one of the things that we personally, we hated that saying. People would tell us it's a process, and we would rebuke that and say, no, I don't want it to be a process. I want God to do it right now. I don't want to wait. I don't want any of that. I just want the miracle right now. What we found out is that, yeah, it's a process. So I think there's this temptation within all of us to believe that there's some place where we can go that is base, where we will be safe, and we can say, okay, devil can't touch me here. I'm safe. I've done all that I need to do. I got baptized. I got hands laid on me. I said the sinner's prayer. Now everything's going to be fine. And we all have that temptation, but the reality is that it's just not true. We have been born behind enemy lines. We are stuck in this place where it is a fallen world. And yes, God is the king of the universe. But because of the way he set things up, then there is a process. And this is what Jesus taught us over and over. In the 4th chapter of Mark, you see, he teaches us that everything in our life is like a seed. You plant the seed and the seed grows and it grows up and it becomes a tree. This is the process. In the same way, what you see in the story of Moses is that the people thought that, hey, we're going to the promised land. And when we get to the promised land, it's going to be wonderful because God said so. But they sort of missed the part about where they were going to have to fight giants and they were going to have to trust God, and it was going to be not an easy process, we'll say. And if you follow the story of the Exodus, I mean, it was terrible. I mean, they spent 40 years. And most of that was because they didn't trust God. And we need to be able to rest in God and trust in God. But this is part of that resting, is knowing that we're in a process. You know, when we went into ministry, one of the things I used to say was, I think we've turned a corner and things are going to get better. Things are going to be different. And you know what? I really was wrong every time. It's a process and we're all growing, and we really need to come to a place where we can rest in this understanding and say, okay, you know what? This is going to take a little while. This is not going to happen overnight. People, so many times they get saved and they feel like, okay, now everything's going to be fine, right? And some preachers are dumb enough to even say that. And it's just not that way. We live in a fallen world. There's a devil here. We have people around us who are stupid, and we make stupid choices, and things just don't go the way we feel like they should sometimes. One of the things I learned through all of this was that every time we would go through a difficulty and I felt like we had turned a corner, the thing is that you have to realize that this is only a resting place. It's kind of like if you're climbing a mountain. I don't know if you've ever done any rock climbing or mountain climbing, but when you're doing that, as you're going up, you come to these places where there's an open area there where maybe you can put your feet down and you can sit down maybe and rest for a little bit. And you're climbing up this mountain and it's really hard work, but then you get to this spot where, hey, you can rest. But then after you've rested a little while, you look up and you go, you know what? There's still a long way up that I need to go. And so you got to get up and start climbing again. And I don't want to depress anybody, but life is just like that. Life is this situation where we go through these periods of time where we get to rest and everything feels like it's going good. But you got to understand there's a devil that hates your guts, and he's just waiting to come along and make you think that all the bad times are over. Listen, I know for some people this is not good news, because they're like, well, hey, then why did I get saved? Well, you got saved because you wanted somebody to lead you through the valley. You know, the scripture talks about the valley of the shadow of death. And if you think about it in this way, where, let's say the valley of the shadow of death is every hard thing that's come against you. If you think about it like that, Jesus doesn't say you're not going to go through the valley. What he says is I will lead you through the valley. You see, sometimes you have to go through the valley to get to the still waters and the green pastures. The thing that causes the greatest stress in our situation is this idea that we are the ones responsible for making things happen, and we have to do this or that or the other thing. So you remember the scripture says, labor to enter into the rest. This is that paradox. We are working to rest in order to come into that relationship with God where our faith is working. You see, this is something that a lot of people don't understand, is faith is a weapon. Your faith is what stops the enemy from attacking you. And the way the enemy attacks you is you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not this, you're not that. The hardest part about that is understanding that it's true, you aren't. And that's why you need to get into that place of rest. The way that you defeat the devil is you say, yeah, you're right, I'm not enough. Good thing it's not up to me. Because God is the one bringing me through this. God is the one that's teaching me. God is the one that's giving me what I need to get through this. Our job, most of the time, is to follow the directions in 1 Peter 5, verse 6 and 7. And he says there to cast our care onto Jesus because he cares for us. This is the act of humbling yourself. And humility is the ability to say, I'm not enough. And people, I don't know what the deal is with people thinking that they have to be enough. You're never going to be enough. You never were enough. The reality is that against the devil, we are helpless. The devil is more than a match for you and will beat your brains out. But he can't beat your brains out if you're hiding behind your shield of faith. And that's where we need to be, is resting in God and in our relationship with God. And when the devil comes against us, we run to our daddy God and say, Daddy, help, help. And he says, sure, I can do that. No problem. The devil is nothing for him, but he's way more than us. Once you get that down in your heart where you can see, hey, I'm not enough, but God is enough. When you see that, you will stop stressing over all of the things that are going on in your life. Life happens, good stuff happens, bad stuff happens, but you are resting in God and in your relationship with God. You know that you're a sheep and he's the shepherd and he's going to lead you through this. This is such an important revelation. You really, if you don't already understand this, I really recommend you get into the Word, get into the Scriptures, read my book, Just a Little Bit Out West, and get this fed into your spirit until when something terrible happens, you can go, you know what? I know my dad, and I'm going to give him a call, and he'll take care of it. Because that's where we're supposed to be, is resting in our Father to help us through these situations. The last thing that we have to remember is that what we're fighting is not other people. It is the devil in those people. And when you can remember that, you can remember that your weapons, what does the verse say? It says our weapons are not carnal. Our weapons are not of this world. Our weapons are not fleshly. I don't use a physical sword. I use my faith in God and the authority that God has given me and my relationship in God. That's what I use to defeat the devil. And yes, there may be people coming against us, but those people are being led by spirits and voices that are not good. And those voices can be made to shut up. It's really difficult to see these people who are coming against you and not see them as the problem. But it's what's behind those people that is the problem. And if we can remember that, it makes it even easier to deal with the situation, recognizing that this person is not my problem. It's the one who's pushing that person, who's telling that person what to do. That's my problem. And God can deal with that, and we can pray against that, and we have weapons against that, so that we're not having to be in unforgiveness or anger against the person, recognizing who the true enemy is. This is sort of like when a bullfighter is fighting a bull and he's waving that red cape out there. The bull thinks that the cape is his problem. He doesn't realize that there's somebody standing behind that cape who is the real problem. And if all you ever do is attack the red cape, well, you're going to die. This is so important that we recognize who our enemy really is. All right. I'm going to come back next week and we will talk some more about getting out west. Just remember what I said. Get into the Word and get to talking with Daddy God and rest in Him, so that when troubles come, you can be unmoved by that. It won't bother you that there's giants, because you know that God is going to help you defeat those giants. All right. Take care. I'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.